Okay.
And so I told him I wouldn't talk to him until you guys get through.
Okay.
I didn't want to step in the way.
I appreciate that. I don't know. I haven't seen him yet. So.
Is the dog still in the backyard?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. I'll see you later, man. Thanks, Ted. I'll call you.
How you doing, sir?
Had better days.
I see. I'm Officer Merryman. I just wanted to talk to you. Evidently, you had seen what had happened, and I just wanted to talk to you and see what you remembered about what took place.
There was the domestic disturbance. She was screaming that she was here to take her kid, that she could take whatever was hers, that she was allowed to. She said the kid was hers. The guy said no, that he had custody or something like that. Like, I was outside for ever.
So where were you at when this was going on?
Between my truck and right up here.
Between your truck and where?
Right over here.
Okay.
So I was actually heading over there when he pulled his gun. So.
Okay. So what? So they were arguing about the kid?
They were arguing about the kid. They were outside when I brought my... Actually, what I called for was about my kid because he witnessed it.
Okay.
The school said that I should contact you guys about seeing if there's anybody that needs to talk to him, counseling-wise, because he watched it.
Okay.
So.
So they were arguing about the kids, and the officer pulled up?
They were arguing about the kid, and this and that, and he got her calmed down. They went back inside. So I went to leave, and he came out the door holding the kid. He got her, well, sorry. When I first come out, she was sitting on the porch holding the kid. I don't know if it was a girl or boy, but she was saying that she could take it, that the kid was hers, that's her property. And he's like, no, you're not allowed custody or something like that. He got her calmed down. They went back inside. A few seconds later, he come outside briskly holding the kid. Got to about the street when she come flying out the door. The dog come flying out after her. Basically in chase. She starts swinging on the guy. He turns, trying to shield the kid, starts walking away as she's beating on him. That's when the officer rolled up. Seeing that he was actually being hit, he jumped out, ran over to break up the fight, and the dog ran over after him. To me, the dog wasn't being aggressive. He wasn't being aggressive when he came out the door. He wasn't being aggressive to the cop. I mean, I didn't hear him barking. I didn't hear him growling. I seen jumping, which that kind of dog, I suppose it could be aggressive. But well, anyways, the guys at the peephole trying to break them up. As the dog gets to him, he sees the dog. He spins around trying to push the dog off, stumbles back, pulls his gun, starts firing.
Okay. Where was the dog in relation to where everybody else was at? Like, say I'm the officer. He said he's...
When the cop showed up?
Yeah. When he showed up.
He was about... I think he was by the step. At that point, I stopped paying attention to the dog. I mean, he was over there. I don't think he was with them at the time. I'm not certain where the dog was. But I know when the cop got there, the dog had come up behind him. Like, the cop was facing kind of that way.
Okay.
When the dog came up behind him, and it looked from where I was that he could have shoved the dog away or something like that. I don't know. I wasn't close enough. But I seen the dog going at him. So I started to walk over there, try to get a hold of the dog. That way the guy could break up the person, the people. When he realized there was a dog there, turned around, and I guess he fell on the snow or caught the sidewalk or something. And as he's falling, that's when I started hearing shots.
So as he was falling is when he was firing the shots?
Yes. He may have fired one prior to falling, but at least one of them was fired as he was going down.
What,
It's cold here.
we can sit in my car if you'd rather stay warm a little bit. Shouldn't be too much longer. I just wanted to get your information here. No, we're getting warm. Okay.
222. I'll be back in the unit. The 28 on the car was 034.
let me just get your name here, sir.
10-4.
What's your last name?
Rank, R-A-N-C-K.
And your first name?
Edward. Ed, doesn't matter.
What's your middle name?
Lewis.
Lewis? Louis?
Louis.
And what's your address? And your social security number?
What do you need that for?
It's for the report. You don't have to give it to me if you don't want to, but... And your birth date? And what's your phone number? So just to make sure I have things clear, what was the first thing that drew your attention to them?
That they were out there yelling at each other.
Okay. And you could tell that it was about
It's about the child.
Okay.
I was like, honestly, I was standing out there seeing if I needed to call. Because he was saying that, you need to leave or I'm going to call the police, so...
Okay.
So I was kind of hanging out watching that, and then when they went back inside, I started to get ready to go take my child to school.
Had she been there, or did you see her pull up, or where did she come from?
She was sitting on the stoop when I came outside.
Okay. On that chair out there?
Yeah. Chair, I guess it's a chair, I don't know.
Did you come outside because of them, or because of some just happened
I
to?
take my son to school.
Okay.
That's the only reason we were outside. They would have canceled. I wouldn't have had to witness this.
Okay. So was the child inside or outside when you came out?
I believe the child was in her arms.
Okay.
297.
She looked like she was holding something.
And what was being said at that time?
10-4.
That she was allowed to come over and get her stuff, and that I thought she said a daughter, but I'm not positive on that. I don't know if it was a girl or boy,
222.
but that the child was hers and she was taking it.
222.
I'll be on code 1 to take some evidence upstairs for 232.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do 2 different reports.
And what happened after that?
Policeman calls.
They argued a few minutes longer, or seconds, I don't know how long it was. But they walked back inside, and I'm like, okay, I'll get ready to get in the truck and leave. As I got to my door, he briskly came out his door. Right after that, she came out, and the dog followed her. About the time they hit the street sidewalk area, she caught up to him and started swinging on him, yelling that the kid was hers and that he couldn't take it away from her. I would use boy or girl, but I don't remember what she said if it was.
Sure, that's all right.
And he basically kept trying to turn to shield the child from being hit. And he started down the street towards my house. Well, was that north? And by the time the other policeman showed up and seen it, that's when he jumped out and ran over to try to break it up. And then the dog, basically came up behind him. And then he realized the dog was there. I don't think he ever seen the dog until it was behind him.
250 is inbound Sunnyside.
So the dog came up behind him. How close was the dog at that point? You remember? Just an
To
estimate.
the officer?
Yeah.
He was right there. He was jumping.
Jumping on him?
Yeah.
Like jumping with his paws on the
yeah.
officer? Okay.
I mean, to me, it looked no different than if my dog jumped on somebody. But, I wasn't close enough. I didn't hear the dog bark. I didn't hear the dog growl. I didn't hear anything like that. Just when the cop went running, that's when the dog came after him. He had already made it to the group of people
Okay.
and was
The
trying
dog-
to physically pull them apart when the dog came up behind him.
Okay. And what happened when the dog came up behind him then?
He realized the dog was there, spun around, and I don't know if he pulled his gun out then or the first time I heard the shot was either right before he started to fall or right as he was falling was when I heard the first shot. Now, there's not a whole lot of time there to process information and figure out exactly what was going.
So pretty much at the same time, around the same time he was falling, either just before or just after you saw him falling, is when you've heard the first shot.
Yes. The first shot was either right before he was falling or as he was falling, and then there was another shot.
Okay. And what happened after that?
She was on the ground.
26.
He was screaming that you shot.
Had she been standing up prior
Yes.
to that?
She
Okay.
was standing up
26.
the entire time, fighting. He hadn't got him broke apart. His priorities changed from, trying to separate them when the dog was behind him.
Okay. So she was on the ground and...
He was on the ground and he was screaming, "You shot my wife, you shot my dog." And he started yelling at him to get back so he could check out her. The guy grabbed the dog and took him away. I don't know if the dog was shot. He said he was, I don't know.
Where was the child at during all this?
In his arms. He might
He
have
was still-
took the child back in before he got the dog, I don't remember. I was more paying attention to her and seeing if she was moving or...
Okay. Anything happened after that?
I called 911. He started trying to see if she was okay. At least I think that's what he was doing. Trying to see if there's any type of, I don't know, I guess. He was screaming, check to see if she had a pulse and if she was bleeding, this and that. And he's like, "I'm trying to do my job, stay over there." So the guy
Okay.
pretty much stayed away, and then, other people showed up.
Okay. Can you kind of describe to me, go back to where the dog first came up. So the officer was going up to the three people, I guess, with the kid. But
Yes.
so he was walking up to them. The dog comes up behind him, and he turns.
He made it to the people.
I'm just trying to figure out where everybody was at when the shot was fired. You know.
Well, I couldn't tell you who was on the right or left or that, but I can tell you, the people were here, and he was here. I guess it'd be like this.
Okay.
And then the dog came up here, and that's when he realized there's a dog there, and he spun around trying to get away from the dog, and then he ended up facing that way when he fell backwards.
So he was facing south.
When the dog came up to him, he was facing northeast.
Okay.
Ish. I'd say more east than north.
Okay. And then, so the dog came up kind of more towards
came
the
up
street,
basically
or from the sidewalk.
more between sidewalk and the street is
Okay.
roughly where I believe the dog came up. I mean, I didn't see how do I say that? I don't want to sound contradicting. Because I seen the dog. I would say it was probably more sidewalk than street.
Well, I just, you didn't have to be perfect. I just want I was just curious about the general area of where
The dog basically came up to where he was on his backside. I mean, I don't want to go over there since it's a crime scene, but it was basically like those two were here, he was here,
Okay.
and the dog came up right here onto his back.
Okay.
I don't think the cop ever seen the dog until he was right there on him, and he was like, "Oh crap!"
Okay.
So
And the dog just went straight up to him and started jumping on him?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, he took the dog took off after him after he started running.
Took off after him. So
Like-
the officer started running away.
No. The police officer pulled up
Mm-hmm.
and seen those two fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately stopped his car on the street, jump out, and ran to break up the fight.
Okay.
And as he's running, the dog takes off
Starts-
after him.
Okay.
The cop gets to the people first, and then the dog catches up to him.
I see. Do you know where the dog started running from? Was it on the front porch, or do
I
you know?
want to say he was on the steps.
Okay.
Not the steps of the porch, but like the steps of the sidewalk.
So, do you have any idea how it would have happened that? So the two that were arguing were right next to each other when all this took place, right? They were still struggling.
Yeah, she was beating on him.
Okay. Okay.
She was swinging when as the officer ran up to him.
So did the officer fall on his side, on his back?
On his back. He fell basically like he was stumbling back trying to get away from the animal. Now I'm guessing, he either caught, the snow or his boot or something on the ground, and he basically fell straight back onto his back.
Did the dog continue to go after him at that point, or?
No.
Okay. What did the dog do? Or do you remember?
I'm not sure what the dog did. I don't know if he stayed around or if the guy yelled at the dog to get away. At that point, I was kind of shocked that there was shots being fired for that.
Okay.
But, I mean, if he felt threatened, so.
Okay.
I don't.
What kind of a dog was it? Do you remember?
I believe it was German Shepherd.
Okay.
At least that's what it looked like. It looked like a dark. I don't remember what those are called. The dark and yellow ones.
Had you ever seen that dog before?
No.
Okay.
People move in and out here so frequently, I don't pay attention to them. It's a crappy neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up a block down that way, actually.
I bought the house that was getting better. They tore the manor down and then it got crappy. But it's starting to come back, I think. We don't nearly have as many calls.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that I didn't ask you about, or that you think might be important, or might help us out?
No, I don't think so. Nothing that really stands out. Oh,
When he fired... Oh, go ahead.
no, it has nothing. It has to do with that, but not relative to
Go ahead.
what.
That's right. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? I don't know if you can answer it.
Oh,
Is she okay? Like, I don't know if you can answer
I
that. Or
I
not.
know the answer, but I'm not sure if it's been released yet, so I
Okay.
can't answer that.
Okay, I'm okay. That's fine.
I'd tell you if I could.
Yeah, the
But
neighbors
I'm
will
not
have
trying to.
stuff to gossip about.
I'm sure that we'll find. I'm sure that it will be
It'll be out.
public information shortly. So
I was just concerned.
sure.
So, all right, what's your question?
I forgot. um, what was there any doubt in your mind why he pulled his gun? I mean, was it pretty clear that he was trying to get? His point was to, or his intentions was to shoot the dog.
Yes, I think it was excessive. I don't think he needed to, but
But I mean, but as far as what he did, whether it was right or wrong, that's what his intentions were.
It was to the dog, not.
Okay.
It was.
And anything that would have happened to her would have been accidental and not on purpose. Is basically what
Yes.
what I'm saying.
She was caught in
Oh, yeah, on sandwich.
the crossfire. I guess that's how you put it. I don't know.
Okay.
10-4.
And if the dog hadn't been there, I mean, he didn't pull his gun as he was running up there. He pulled it out because of the dog. If the fight hadn't been there, or if the dog hadn't been there,
If the dog hadn't,
he
come
wouldn't have
running out
even
after
had
her,
any reason to pull his.
I don't think he would have pulled the. Well, I don't think he would have. It hadn't escalated that far. I mean,
Sure.
it might have went there, but
Sure.
but at that, point, he was just trying to get them separated
Yeah.
to calm the situation down.
Okay. That was my question. Okay. So you're not sure if the dog knocked him over or if he just stumbled back and fell over?
I don't believe the dog knocked him over.
Okay.
The dog wasn't close to him when he was falling.
But he was kind of like stepping
Yes,
back
he
as
he was trying to get back
get distance from the
animal.
Okay.
Like, basically, he spun around and was trying to walk backwards, and I don't know if it's something caught, and he went straight backwards.
Okay.
But he was trying to give himself distance from it.
Sure.
I think the dog just surprised him. I don't believe he ever seen the dog.
Mm-hmm. All right. If there's nothing else, I think that's all the questions that I have. What's your son's name? Okay. Well, and as far as the newspaper and all that, that's up to you. Whether you talk to him or don't talk to him or whatever, that's your decision. And I can't tell you.
Is there a recommendation?
That's a good question.
I
don't want to say. I don't want to tell you not to. I mean, I'm not saying. It's not that I want you to hide anything or anything, but I just don't know what.
If I was to say something, is there anything that I'm not supposed to say? As I don't want to cause any undue things, but I don't want to,
I guess fortunately or unfortunately, probably more fortunately, but